I was convicted of my first felony at the age of 13. I was convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon with intent to cause bodily injury. I was stealing cars, I was breaking into houses, I was robbing people. I was doing some really bad things at a very young age. Became addicted to even harder drugs like, LSD, cocaine. By the time I was about 16, I was doing those type of things. I found myself living in the streets, homeless, and eventually that led to selling drugs and dealing drugs to pay for my habit, heroin, crack cocaine, pharmaceutical pills, Oxycontins, anything that I could find that I could cook down and, or break down and put into my arm, I would. Hate and drugs and alcohol, well, that was all that I knew. On April 1st of 2009, I got what was by far the worst news I've ever been given in my life. I got a call from the doctor, and I was out of town on work, and he told me, you've got HIV/AIDS, and it's pretty bad. Well, that day was, everything came crashing down on me. I knew I had done this to myself, all those years of sticking needles in my arms and just sleeping around and not taking care of myself, like I should have. At first, I was real scared. All I had was to sit on that couch and wait to die. I was still angry, I was still real angry. And then one day, I found myself, due to this anger, I found myself locked up in the county jail. I looked at things and said, man, you've got AIDS. You're fixing to go to prison, And that's whenever I came to the point where I said, man, I'm done with this. I can't do this on my own anymore. On September 24th at 11 a.m. in the county jail I turned my life over to Christ. About a month later, I was released on bond. I started going to church, every Tuesday and every Sunday. That Thursday morning, I had a doctor's appointment, and the doctor walked in. He had this kind of puzzled look on his face, and he looked at me and he said, man, you're what we call in the medical field HIV negative, and it's hard to explain because, a month ago, it didn't look like things were, working out for you, Immediately, there was no doubt in my mind. I sat there and I told him, face to face, I says, the only thing that's changed is I've given my life over to Christ. I told him, I says, Jesus has healed me, man. And he said, well, I don't know how to medically explain this. So it kind of hit me, again, Jesus has healed me. This is so awesome. This is so awesome. But then it really hit me, I'm still facing, 25 years, in a penitentiary. I did the only thing that I knew how to do, pray. And a couple of weeks later, sure enough, the lawyer called and said, look, man, they're gonna settle for 5 years probation. And right now, as I said here right now, I'm pretty much a free man. No, I didn't spend another day in jail. He not only healed me from AIDS, but saved me from a life in prison. With him on my side, there's not a lot of dark times like there used to be. There's light.